Hello everybody and welcome to this lesson on aural setting. So aural setting is going to be one of the kind of topics that you could be asked about in section A of the exam paper, section B of the exam paper and section C of the exam paper. I'm going to briefly go through kind of where it's suitable in section C, but majority of this is going to be about section A and answering the questions. So first of all, defining aural setting. So thinking about what is aural setting, what does that mean? So it is an audible accompaniment to a dance. Okay, so everything you hear is the aural setting. Okay, so the types of aural setting that we have then, 8 in total. Number 1 is song. Number 2 is instrumental. Number 3 is orchestral. Number 4 is spoken word. Number 5 is silence. Number 6 is natural sound. Number 7 is found sound. And number 8 is body percussion. So 8 different types of aural setting that you need to know about. And obviously we need to know what these mean, how we define them so that we can use them later on in exam questions. So what is a song? A song is a musical composition intended to be performed by the human voice. Okay, so if you think of anything you hear on the radio, anything kind of you play on your iPod or phone, a song has singing in it, has lyrics in it. So that's how we can define them. Whereas an instrumental piece of music is a piece of music performed on instruments, but with no vocals. So no one talking, singing, rapping, etc. It's just a plain piece of music. Orchestral is a piece of music written for an orchestra to play. So these are classically going to be string instruments, but an orchestra, remember, is like more than one person, so it's going to be a piece of music written for an orchestra to play. Number 4, spoken word. So that is words or sentences that are spoken. So it could be a recording of someone reading a poem. It could be the dancers themselves live chanting out, speaking out. Any of that is going to be spoken word, obviously, anything coming from a human's mouth. Silence, I didn't define that one for you, but as you can kind of explain silence yourself, it's nothingness and not hearing anything, having that kind of pause, that break, moment of hearing nothing. Okay, number 6, natural sounds. So natural sounds are any sounds produced by non-human organisms. Okay, so things you hear in the natural world. So that could be the wind. I've given you an example there of the wind. Could be birds chirping if you were dancing site specifically outside. Anything you hear naturally. And then found sound is general sounds around you, but from dancers. So that might be the breath of a dancer, that might be them skidding along the floor, any natural kind of sounds that you hear, however not from the natural environment, they're from the dancers themselves. So making sure that you're really clear on the difference there between natural sound and found sound. And then last but not least is body percussion. So body percussion is a fusion of movement and sound. It's where we use our bodies to make percussive sounds and rhythms. So anything from like smacking your chest, smacking your thighs, clicking, clapping, that is body percussion. So I encourage you now to pause the video, write down all 8 with the definitions next to them, and you might want to make some of your own notes, own comments that are going to help you here. Okay guys, so like I said, I'm just going to go through how aural setting fits into section C. So obviously the 6 dance anthologies are laid out in this table, and I've just listed the types of aural setting underneath. Okay, so I haven't described any of the aural setting, I'm just simply showing you the types of aural setting that happen in each of them. So this might not make any sense if you're in year 9. If you're in year 10, hopefully you know a couple of these, and if you're revising in year 11, this is a really good revision tool for you. So if we're looking at the top left hand corner there, emancipation of expressionism, underneath there I've just listed the 2 types of aural setting that are featured throughout. So a good revision tool, revision activity, sorry, would be just to pause this video, write down this table in your book and then go and watch each of the professional works and try and identify specific examples of where each of these types of aural setting are found within the work. If you're in year 9, obviously just wait a second and move on to the second activity. But for everybody else revising, really good revision tool to just remind yourself of the types of aural setting that are in the different anthologies. So I encourage you to pause this, write this table in your books, and then watch each of the works to find the different types throughout, just to really remind yourself of the aural setting in each of the anthologies. Okay, how aural setting affects choreographic outcomes. So what does it add? What does it gain? So of course, aural setting can add to the mood and the atmosphere. It creates the mood and atmosphere. It can add contrast and variety to the overall performance. It could have a correlation with the structure. For example, E of E, where in each section there's a different aural setting, meaning that you can really see the different sections of the work. It might relate to the structure. And of course, it might add to the theme, idea, choreographic intention coming across. So a common question might be that how does this aural setting enhance the dance idea? So in section A, you might be asked that question. So it's important when describing aural setting that it fits in with the choreographic intention, or you could justify how it enhances the theme or dance idea. So pausing this video now and writing the subtitle there, how aural setting affects choreographic outcomes, and then those 4 bullet points underneath, please. Okay, when describing aural setting, so what you want to include, you want to talk about the different instruments that are being used, the volume, so how loud, how quiet, the style of the music, the pitch, so is it high pitched, is it low pitched, and the tempo, so how quick it is it fast, is it slow. So these are the things when describing aural setting you really need to think about, because this is going to add the detail that we need. So again, I need you to pause the video now, write the subtitle of when describing aural setting, and just list these 5 underneath, please. Off you go. Okay, we've learned about aural setting. We've got the 8 types of aural setting in our head. We know how we're going to contribute the aural setting. We know how we're going to describe the aural settings. We're now going to apply all this knowledge to answering exam questions. Okay, here we go. Task 1. So, create a choreographic intention for a dance using the stimulus. Stimulus is a picture. It's going to pop up in a second. Your choreography is a solo, meaning we have one dancer to work with. So the main task here is creating a choreographic intention. Now, a choreographic intention is the aim of the dance. So what the choreographer aims to communicate. This is your stimulus here. It is a picture. So in section A of the exam, you're going to open the page and the first thing you're going to see, hopefully, is a stimulus. Now you will have to create a choreographic intention immediately from that stimulus. But luckily we're going to practice this lots of times so we're really good at it. And here's how we're going to do that. So you would put obviously you're not going to draw this or print this out, but you could just put stimulus 1, a picture of the girl letting go of the balloon, for example, and just a bubble around that, so you can start kind of mind mapping off of that some different choreographic intentions. So I'm going to give you some examples here. So one could be the power of the wind. That clearly links to this picture because we see her hair kind of flowing forward, we see the balloon going away. So a choreographic intention and the aim of a dance could be to show the power of the wind. Another one that I thought of was losing something you once loved, and that's clear from the balloon being a love heart, but also it's being lost, it's going away from the young girl. So that could be another choreographic intention. So what I'd like you to do now is create that little mind map, and obviously you can use my 2 examples there, but just write some more examples of some different choreographic intentions. So pause the video now and complete that task 1. Off you go. Okay, so once you've done that, you should have a choreographic intention that you're going to stick to, and you'll need that choreographic intention to answer the following questions about aural setting. So question at the top there, so name the type of aural setting you would use in your dance. We know that we've just studied 8 types of aural setting. All you need to do is name one of them. However, the one you name is the one then you need to talk about in the following question. So make sure you name an aural setting that is going to link to your choreographic intention and that you're going to be able to talk about confidently. So, number 2 is describe one way in which your choice of aural setting could support the communication of your choreographic intention outlined in question 1. So the type of aural setting that you've given in the first question, you must then describe a way that that type is going to support your choreographic intention. Okay, so whatever you've mind mapped around that picture of the girl losing the balloon, whatever your choreographic intention is, comes into play here. So how are we going to get these 2 marks? You are going to get 2 marks for a detailed answer which refers to how it supports the choreographic intention. And remember, we've already looked at how that can affect it. It can affect it by the mood and atmosphere. Contrast and variety could add structure, could add a relationship to the theme. But remember, it must link back to the choreographic intention. Okay, I would like you to pause the video now in your books, writing out both of these questions and answering them based on the choreographic intention you've just given to that picture. Off you go. Okay, moving on, I've answered these for you, so we're going to have a look at an example answer. Okay, so name the type of aural setting you would use in your dance. I've simply put, in my dance, I would use the aural setting of spoken word, a poem about losing something you loved. Okay, so I've maybe written a bit too much there. Literally just need to say type of aural setting, spoken word, because as we've just learned earlier, that is a type of aural setting. Bam, 1 mark. So that remember you could have had orchestral, song, natural sound, found sound, body percussion, whatever type of aural setting you put there, bam, 1 mark. So just tick that if you've answered that previously. Okay, and then the second question, describe one way in which your choice of aural setting could support the communication of choreographic intent outlined in the previous question. So remember that my choreographic intention is losing something you loved, and I have chosen spoken word. So let's see if I've used those 2 things. The spoken word would create a tense and sad atmosphere, as only a voice can be heard. The lyrics of the spoken word poem would talk about losing something you loved, which would reinforce my choreographic intention of losing something. So I think that is a detailed answer which refers to how it supports the choreographic intention. I have also talked about the mood and atmosphere. It's created a tense and sad atmosphere. Now, I haven't suddenly talked about a piano. I've stuck with my spoken word because in the previous question I've said I'm using spoken word, therefore I must now talk about spoken word. Okay, so make sure you've used the same thing. I would like you to first of all mark your 2 mark response. So is it detailed? Does it support the choreographic intention? I have referred back to losing something you loved, which was my choreographic intention. Have you linked back to your choreographic intention? So just give yourself 2 marks there. Then I would really like you to write out my examples, please, in your book. So pause the video and write out these example answers in your book. Okay, task 2. So create a choreographic intention for a dance using this stimulus. Same thing again, we know what we're doing now, but I'm giving you a new stimulus. So this is the piece of art, this is our stimulus, this picture, quite a difficult one. I'm challenging you now. Your choreography is a trio, so we have 3 dancers. And remembering that a choreographic intention is the aim of the dance. So you now have to make up an aim of a dance based on this piece of art. Again, I need you to mind map this to get used to creating choreographic intentions. So draw some arrows off it and make up a couple of choreographic intentions, please. So pause the video now and complete that task. Okay, moving on, exam questions. Remember, these are based on the next stimulus, which is the piece of art. You should now have a choreographic intention. So now I want you to describe the type of aural setting you would use to accompany this dance. So we know that when describing aural setting, you must include detail about instruments, pitch, volume, and tempo. And remember, add that extra detail of stating the type of aural setting. So you could describe the type of aural setting by saying body percussion, song, etc. So that is how you're going to get the 2 marks there. So the second question there, 2 marks, give 2 ways in which this could enhance your chosen dance idea. Okay, so the choreographic intention you have just made up for that piece of artwork comes into play here. So you need to give 2 ways in which that could enhance or add to your choreographic intention. So again, here you might want to talk about the mood, the atmosphere. Does it add contrast? Does it add variety? Does it help the structure of your dance? Or does it add to the theme, the idea? So there's some help at the sides if you need it. Pause the video now, write out these 2 questions and answer them based on the choreographic intention you've made up for that piece of art. Off you go. Okay, final task, just a quick 1 mark question. We're still looking at the piece of art stimulus. So this question says, outline how the aural setting supports the end of your dance. Okay, so you would have just in the previous question described the aural setting. So you're making up this piece of aural setting, you're describing it, and now it's asking you to outline how that aural setting has supported the end of your dance for 1 mark. So what you need to do is create an ending for your dance. Remember, this is all hypothetical, this is all made up. You just need to create an ending of your dance. However, it must link to the aural setting you've described previously. So making sure it links and making sure it supports the ending of your dance. So this is a simple 1 mark answer. So I need you to pause the video, write out the question. There's help in that purple bubble to the side, and I need you to answer this question. Off you go. Okay, so that is the end of the video. Lots of example questions that you have hopefully written down and answered. Also an example answer. I encourage you to go back to the start of the video and just remind yourself of those 8 types of aural setting. A lot of knowledge is needed. If you have any questions about this video, feel free to email me. Thank you everybody and well done.